Good evening. John asked my wife and I to come tonight as transition grads, I guess, to share our experiences and where things have been for us. My name is David Dungan. My wife, Mary Kay, is sitting over there in the audience. Our daughter is Catherine Dungan. She was in transition starting fall of 2014 through October 13th of 2017 when she aged out. She has diagnoses of cerebral palsy with sensory integration dysfunction and motor planning delays. Kind of a wastebasket in between, really not really know what triggered it. We didn't know what caused it. All her genetic testing was normal, all her imaging was normal. She had some seizure issues when she was really little. Thankfully those went away. And so she continued to have these delays and deficits, and so we just kind of had to roll with it, and for lack of a better term, place her into a cerebral palsy diagnosis. So Catherine's strengths are she's very social, very friendly, she loves girl stuff, has a great sense of humor, and loves music and pop culture. You definitely want her on your Disney Trivial Pursuit team. That is for sure. She thrives on structure, so something such as transition program really worked great for her, and it kind of clued us into what we needed to look for her after transition. Her challenges are her visual awareness. She doesn't have a great periphery of vision. Motor planning, of course. Safety. She has now developed a more persistent tremor in her dominant hand. Couldn't have been the other hand, had to be the dominant hand. She's what I guess I would call a tweener, where she doesn't really fit into the perfect independent environment, such as being in a sellout in a community and managing all her transportation, things like that. But yet she has enough skills that she's not doesn't need to be in a fully dependent environment. So our challenge was to try and find opportunities that help match that for her. I would call her our rock star because she always seemed to rise to the challenge. The transition team here, I think, did a fantastic job of challenging her. Mary Kay and I like to remember when we first met Debbie Thomas at the beginning of middle school, and Debbie, and we went just to do a couple minor things that we just always kind of did, and Debbie said, no, Catherine can do that, and no, Catherine can do that, and we look at each other, we're like, oh, we have some learning to do ourselves as parents. And it's easy as a caretaker and a nurturer that you want to fall into those particular roles, but it's important that that you allow your children to thrive and expect them to thrive. And I think the team here at Transition has done a great job of that for our kids and helping them getting ready for those community environments where they need to do that. So I think the key thing is when you go forward, you have to evaluate what your options are. There's a wide variety of opportunities. You're going to hear about all of those from everybody tonight, such as day programming, community recreation, evening and afternoon social activities. The kids need social activities like anybody who's 18, 19, 20 years old. They don't want to be hanging out with us watching a movie. They want to be out with friends. And so I think that's a really key thing to do. Be involved in the job training and the placement discussions, as I think you kind of know where some of those skills are at, but you're also going to hear about skills that they're doing here or at their job training site that you're like, what? They're doing that? And I think that's really helpful to have that dialogue and also to be cognizant of where your child seems happy with that training and where they're not in terms of those things. And I think it's okay to try new things and ideas. If you come up and find an idea or an opportunity for outside training, the team here is more than happy to help explore that. I think the We Grow Dreams connection was a good example of that, where it wasn't something that was available for us at the beginning, but as we found and learned about that and had some opportunities there, they were able to work that in to the program for some of the students, and I think that was really neat. The teachers, the job coaches, John, as a social worker, tremendous volume of knowledge and experiences in how to learn how to jump into that next system, right? SSI, guardianship, all the other things that you need to have that knowledge of, because it can be really overwhelming. There's a lot of areas support opportunities too in terms of programs and seminars, such as COD does some things. Day One Pact will have options and ideas for you. There's the Options Fair, Project Search, which is run over at Central DuPage Hospitals. Is their local opportunity for job and independence and knowledge about that. And then don't forget about the other things about asset protection, right? So special needs trusts are really important to look at. So as we were going through things with Catherine as being a tweener, we wanted to kind of figure out what were opportunities that she could have. And so we kind of needed an opportunity for her where she had some supervision, but yet opportunities to still go ahead and be independent as much as she can. And for us, but yet we also knew she really thrived on socialization. We knew she thrived on structure. She had Catherine is a triplet, and she has two healthy brothers who are currently finishing up at U of I and downstate. And so Catherine also loves big environments. Her and Abby cheerleaded together at Wheaton South. So she also thrived in a very large social environment. She really ate that up. So we wanted to try and find some opportunities for that. So this led us to Misercordia up on the north side of the city, which is a continuum of care organization, and they cover the full gamut. They have independent silos out in the community. They have full dependent care if needed for children that are really involved, and everything in between. And kids and adults move back and forth along that spectrum. Sometimes as they improve, they'll move off campus and into semi-independent housing, and then as they age or develop additional challenges, then sometimes they'll move back into campus. So it had the flexibility that we were looking for, and so that's where we decided to look at. Mary Kay got involved there early on, doing some volunteering and in a support service league that was nearby in the western suburbs called the Women's Suburban League, yeah, for Misercordia. And so she got involved with working with that organization and helped us to her to kind of understand the lay of the land, as well as to get to know folks up there. And then she went through, just like you had an IEP here, they kind of have an IEP there. They do a full evaluation. She had sleepovers. She had 2 5-night stays there, so they could determine how she functioned in a living environment and what she was able to do, and then they were able to assess what would be the best area there for her to be at. And our involvement was welcomed and supported, and so that worked out well. And we're not anticipating Catherine to go there as quickly as she did. It happened within less than a month after she finished at transition. But she hasn't missed a beat. I think the structure there, she has a pretty full day from 8 to 2:30, just like she did at transition. So it wasn't anything any different. They even commented at our 30-day staffing afterwards. They said, "Well, she's not tired. She seems to be doing pretty good." We're like, "Yeah, she's she's done this for 4 years. This is her norm for her. So this is what she's expected to do." So. I think it's been really good. Honey, you have any other things to interject? No?
No, just trust the team here. They have your greatest interest of your child. So, you know your kid at home, but they know your kid here. And just have open communication. If you think one thing and they might think something else, just figure out what's best for the child. Because Catherine just thrived here. I mean, they would tell us at meetings, "You can't believe what she did," and I'm like, "What? She did what?" So, yeah, just communicate and trust the system.
Yeah, so her current living environment is she's in a home on campus with 11 other women between the ages of 20 and 40. She has job training every day. She has social time every day. They do weekend field trips. They have a movie night. They have a sing-along night. She works in the art department there. And it's been really great. She has one roommate. They have 3 staff there during the day, 2 in the evenings, and 1 overnight. So there's supervision there where needed. The ladies that are there have a range of involvement, just kind of like what you see in the transition setting. So I think that was easy for her too, because she was used to being around kids and peers that had different levels of involvement, and she seems to be very happy.